Hi, and welcome to Cup of Tea, where you get short, useful tech tips to help you in the online and face-to-face classroom. Today, I have Vessel instructor and coordinator Steve Gwynn with us. Hi, Steve. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, Monica, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and today you're going to show us the Canvas Immersive Reader, some features and tips for how to use it.
That's right.
Yeah, great. We're looking forward to it.
All right, well, let's jump into it. I'm going to share my screen here and just let me know that you can see it.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so everybody, the Immersive Reader is something that you probably know about, but I kind of rediscovered it. I want to share my enthusiasm to you about it. It's located right up here in the top right corner. So I'm just going to click on Immersive Reader, and you'll notice that I'm just on my orientation page. So I haven't made a really special page for it. It's just a page that I picked out to demonstrate. And if we take a look down here, we have at the bottom the play button, but right next to it are the voice settings. And I highly recommend that you train your students to go right into here and adjust the settings. The default is for female, but they can toggle between male and female voices. So that's a good change up for everyone. And then the voice speed is set at 1.0. And I think for some students, they'd like it a little bit slower. And so they can just toggle this back to 0.75, which is a nice speed for listening comprehension. But on the other hand, for advanced students, once they master the comprehension at 1, they could even toggle it up to 1.25 to really kind of expand their listening comprehension. So that's a great tool that you have a little play in. It's free. And then I'm going to go up and show you guys what we have here in these 3 icons. So the first one is the text size and everything. The only thing I really use here is this increased spacing, which the default is on. I turn it off so it tightens up down here. I just like to see everything. The second one that's really cool is this little grammar box here. So you've got the parts of speech and you can toggle, whatever you want. The verbs on, it's all color coded. So the verbs are red. You can change the colors, and adjectives, adverbs, maybe you want to do a comparison between them. So there are all kinds of opportunities for everyone to kind of come up with activities that they could use with this. So we use verbs and adverbs in our first little activity, but I'm sure that you can find different ways to use this. I do want to point out that the syllables can all be broken out. For example, maybe in a lower level class or in a pronunciation class, you might want to emphasize that. So that's a really cool aspect to the Immersive Reader. And then finally, I'm just going to touch on this. This last one is there is a picture dictionary. Don't get your hopes up too high for that because they don't have all the words in here, but you should be aware of that so that you can point it out to your students and just check for them to see which words are available. And then just the last little thing that I do, this is not for my students so much, but there is a translation feature here. And for example, if you had a low-level class, I'm not really usually we just are all in English. I'm just saying it's here. But the way I use it for myself is I'll toggle, I'll select, either Spanish or Portuguese. I like the Brazilian Portuguese, and turn that on and then come over to the document and then listen to the document in Portuguese, which is not my native language, of course, but it gives me an experience similar to maybe what the students are experiencing. So I like that feature of it. And it's fun for me too. So I'm going to go back out. There's an arrow on the left that takes people out. And I'm going to just show you a couple of things on this page. This is an orientation page. So one thing about the reader is that it will read fairly fast. It stops at punctuation stop signs like periods, colons, and exclamation marks. But if you ever need it to slow down between maybe a heading and the next line, you can always put a period in there and then just change the font color to white and it disappears, but the reader stops. So it'll put a little pause into your text, which is a good thing. The other thing is that, and you notice here I have a graphic, so it can't read the graphic per se, but I actually put the text in the way I want it to be read. I put periods in to hesitate between the different icons showing what students are going to be doing in the class. And so it'll read that. And we'll just jump back real quickly to show you how it looks when they do read that. And I'm going to tighten up. Notice I click on the toggle off the increased spacing. So in the reader, it actually shows on the text what it doesn't have on the regular screen. And then I'll drop down here just a little bit. So in this lesson, this is like the first page the students come to. And from the get-go, I introduced the Immersive Reader. So we introduced it in Zoom, also on the page. And I've found myself creating text that's more conversational than just like instructions and things like that. So I put in a lot of questions and have a more conversational tone if I expect the students to be reading or listening to this with the Immersive Reader. And by the way, sometimes you have to explicitly task them to do this. I also made a little explanation, little job aid here, which I think Monica may include in the video for us. You're welcome to use it, improve on it. So that's just something that, my students can kind of pop out and take a look at. And then our grammar task was just kind of going through and highlighting the verbs, getting everybody to know the different parts of this Immersive Reader. And so they pulled out some of the imperative verbs that we were working with and some of the adverbs. And then this was an optional task because it was like the first day, but people did send in their sentences and I was able to give feedback. And then later on, I followed up with this with a survey, kind of a quiz survey to get the students' opinions about the Immersive Reader, and everybody's pretty enthusiastic. There are a couple of drawbacks. One is that for now, it's not available on the phone, so you can't get an app for it as far as I know. This is a collaboration between Microsoft and Canvas, and it's in the works supposedly, but I don't have any idea when that might come about. So don't hold your breath for getting it on the phone. It also won't read things like web pages and PDFs you have embedded in your work. So basically it's just, working with the text on the page. And that's a really quick run through the Immersive Reader, everybody. I really highly recommend you try it out.
Thanks so much, Steve. Those were wonderful tips. It's such a great resource for our students.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, take care.